Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 10.
A fire early Sunday morning has claimed the life of a 2-year-old boy, and 3 other members of his family are in the hospital. It happened just before 1 a.m. at a house in the Holmesville Township in Becker County, Minnesota, 9 miles northeast of Detroit Lakes. Becker County sheriffs say there were reports of people still inside the house when the call came in. The family in the home was able to get out, but a 2-year-old boy was unaccounted for. That's when the father and another family member went back inside to locate the boy, but were unsuccessful. He was later found dead after the fire was extinguished. The house is a total loss. Family members tell Valley News Live the father of the family was flown to a Fargo hospital with smoke inhalation, while the mother and their 5-year-old daughter were both flown to a Minneapolis hospital with burns and smoke inhalation. Stay with Valley News Live as we continue to learn more about this story. The state of North Dakota announced a lab equipment malfunction today with its COVID-19 tests, and 82 positive results will now be considered inconclusive. The patients whose tests were affected will be asked to take the test again. The Department of Health says a malfunction occurred with 2 pieces of lab equipment, and all the facilities involved have been notified. The malfunction is being corrected and will not impact lab processing capacity. The state reported another death linked to the virus today, a man in his 90s from Cass County with underlying health conditions. The death brings the state's total to 53. 39 of the patients died because of the virus. 7 died with the virus, while 7 death records are still pending. Overall, another 54 positive cases were reported today, bringing the active case count to 869. Currently, 40 North Dakotans are hospitalized with the virus. In Minnesota, another 17 deaths were reported today, bringing the state's death toll to 869. Overall, 730 new positive tests were reported, making 5,589 cases active in the state. 553 Minnesotans are currently in the hospital, and 207 of those are in the ICU. Late last week, President Trump deemed houses of worship as essential and ordered them to open immediately. In Minnesota, Governor Tim Walz and the Department of Health put out new guidelines for a safe reopening, which takes effect this week. Valley News Team's Courtney Lockie visits a church in Moorhead that went ahead with service this morning and tells us why those in attendance say it was important to be together again.
It was anything but typical. Filling parking lots instead of pews at Our Redeemer Lutheran Church in Moorhead.
We were excited to see how it would turn out, hoping that we would finally get our congregation back.
This just felt so good today to just be here again with everybody on a Sunday and singing and hearing scripture and just kind of trying to get back to normal.
Barbara Cassidy and her husband have been coming here for half a century. Cheryl Jones since 1994. It's people like Cassidy and Jones and the other 60-some that showed up Sunday the church is excited to welcome back.
We were expecting that we have to make the decision, are we going to break the law and go ahead and open up anyway? And now at least that one is off the table.
The church will have to follow CDC guidelines, limiting capacity, social distancing, and sanitizing. They'll do so and open their doors next Sunday. As great as it was to get back, there's more these churchgoers are looking forward to.
I think to me it's so important. I mean, I can do things on my own, but being in fellowship with other people just strengthens my faith.
It's going to even be better when we finally get to go inside, sit in a pew, have the kneeling pads, and be truly inside the church.
For this congregation, next Sunday can't come soon enough. In Moorhead, Courtney Lockie, Valley News Live.
Several churches across the valley tell us they plan to open their doors for in-person services next week. They suggest checking out their social media pages to stay updated. You can find the guidelines put in place by the state on the VNL News app. Well, Memorial Day is the day we set aside to honor fallen veterans with gratitude and pride. For many living in Fosston, Minnesota, the Fosston Veterans Memorial Park is a great place to do so. Flags, tanks, and stones with heroes' names on them remind neighbors of their local servicemen and women who lost their lives in combat. On Friday, these 2 statues were donated to the park in remembrance of this holiday.
You can tell it's really making a positive impact to them, and I think it helps educate the younger kids on the importance of honoring our veterans. So to me, it's always been a time to reflect.
Anderson says over the next year, the community plans to add 2 more statues to honor local veterans. In just a few hours, people will join together in the parking lot of the Fargo AmVets Post 7. A candlelight memorial will be held to honor those from each of the VAs affected by COVID-19. Beginning at the start of Memorial Day, just after midnight at 12:01, 50 candles will be lit.
We're brothers and sisters. We've been there, done that, and we take care of each other. And we don't let things go by unattended. So basically, some of us got together one evening and decided we need to do something to make a difference.
If you would like to take part, spectators are welcome to view the service at midnight. They are also accepting free will donations. Well, despite the challenges presented in their final semester of high school, seniors at Oak Grove Lutheran School were able to celebrate graduation with their families in attendance. Valley News Team's Katie Opperly has an inside look at how the school was able to pull off the celebration in a safe way.
A worldwide pandemic wasn't going to stop the class of 2020 at Oak Grove Lutheran School, so some cloudy skies and a little bit of rain was like nothing as the group celebrated the end of their high school careers. Cara Berg, one of the class's valedictorians, is one of 46 that was able to accept their diploma in front of their families.
I'm so glad that if any class had to go through this, it was us, because we were able to conquer the battle.
Cara says she is thankful for the socially distanced graduation.
Ryan, David, Donabauer.
Knowing that other schools are having to find other ways to celebrate.
I know we're one of the only schools around this area that gets to celebrate this way, so I'm really happy that our administration was able to bring us together like this in a safe way, but still be able to have some normalcy to it.
To have her family be able to experience graduation with her makes it all the more special. The Berg family has a long history with the school.
Both of our sons graduated from here. We both graduated from here. My dad taught here for 30 years. My brothers went here. I have a sister-in-law that went here. Her aunts went here.
The Bergs say even with all the extra precautions, it's all worth it.
Very emotional having it be our last one, but she has just had phenomenal experiences here, and she was part of the state volleyball tournament team that went to state this year and took third, and first time in Oak Grove history. So it's been a great year despite the challenges of the spring.
It's a day to remember by the Bergs and the entire class of 2020. In Fargo, Katie Opperly, Valley News Live.
The administration at Oak Grove says they were able to make the graduation happen by limiting the number of people in attendance, spacing out families, wearing masks, and taking everyone's temperature before the ceremony. This week, Fargo Public Schools will hold in-person graduation ceremonies, but it will be limited to just graduates and select staff. Parents or other guests will not be allowed. Woodrow Wilson will graduate May 29th at 7 p.m. at Agassiz. Davies, North, and South will all graduate on May 31st at their respective football stadiums. There will also be in-person ceremonies for West Fargo Public Schools starting May 28th with Community High School. West Fargo High and West Fargo Cheyenne will have their ceremonies on May 31st at their football fields. These ceremonies will also be limited to just graduates and select staff. To learn about contingency plans for weather, find this story on the VNL News app.